Two of the biggest Warrior mistakes during the dynasty were drafting James Wiseman #2 and paying Jordan Poole. Luckily, they turned both errors into a positive, but there was a huge problem. What if they trade Wiseman for just Gary Payton and he turns into the all-star he was supposed to be? What if Jordan Poole leads the Wizards like he helped Golden State when Steph was injured? Well, it turns out both guys have gotten a lot worse, but Wiseman is a painful mess. When we think of recent all-time busts, people mention like an Anthony Bennett or a Greg Oden or Darko Milicic. Wiseman is about to be one of the biggest mistakes in NBA history. This season has been a new low. It all traces back to one mistake the Warriors made. But first, today's video is sponsored by Underdog Fantasy, and I have had so much fun playing Underdog, watching NBA games this year. But either way, I just play to have fun. And I'm gonna show you my 2 picks, but what I play is called Pick'em. You pick higher or lower from the projections available for your favorite player, and you can up to 20x your money in a single night. And if you wanna play, check out this map to see if Underdog is available in your state, but use promo code AMHOOPS. It really helps out the channel, and you get to double your deposit up to $100, plus a free play special if you're new to Underdog. In 2019, Wiseman was the #1 prospect in high school. That projected him to be a top pick in the draft. People loved that he was 7 feet tall, but ran the floor like Giannis. An athletic, fluid motion unusual for his body. He also had a decent jump shot, which fits perfectly in the modern NBA. But instead of going to a big college like Kentucky, he stayed close to home at Memphis. But Memphis coach Penny Hardaway paid for his family to move close to school, so the NCAA suspended James for improper benefits. I mean, he just wanted his family to come watch games. But instead of fighting the NCAA, he just quit school and prepped for the draft. At the time, the Warriors had the #2 pick. They had to choose between LaMelo Ball, whose maturity was being questioned at the time, or Wiseman, a 7-footer, which they needed, but only played 3 games in college. So they tried everything to trade this pick. Up until the last second, there were rumors Golden State was calling people begging for a good deal. No one wanted it, so they took Wiseman and introduced the 2-timeline plan. Have the dynasty players continue to win, with young guys taking the torch. But the problem is a championship environment is so much pressure on young guys trying to learn. For example, here Steve Kerr calls out a play. Steph is supposed to get a screen from 2 different players, Wiseman and Wiggins. But when Wiseman is late to make a move, Steph jumps up and down in frustration. So when the play breaks down, Wiseman rolls his eyes at himself for messing up so bad. Things like that made Steve Kerr bench him. But then he started to get injured. First, it was a meniscus as a rookie, then he was out all playoffs while the Dubs won without him. Wiseman said, "I was crying so hard I couldn't even get to my mom's apartment. My mom had to carry me to her apartment. I was just crushed, having a lot of nights where I was crying a lot, where I had thoughts like I wish this happened differently." Like how? Well, maybe he plays in college so scouts see he's not worth the #2 pick. Then when he starts to struggle, it's not this gigantic fall on the Warriors and people aren't calling him a bust. So the Dubs trade him to Detroit for Gary Payton, which was great. They would do that deal again because Payton is a perfect fit. But now, Wiseman's career could be over already. That sounds crazy because the Pistons are rebuilding. But check this out. Detroit hired Monty Williams as head coach, gave him full control over the roster. In camp, they competed for backup center to Isaiah Stewart. Then, second-year player Jalen Duren immediately separated himself. Maybe he's the starter. But third string is between Wiseman and Marvin Bagley, another former #2 pick people called a bust. Then what happened? Wiseman lost the competition and can't even get on the floor. The first 4 games were all DNP-CDs. Did not play, coach's decision. No big injury. He just didn't play because the coach thought it wouldn't help. Then, when he did get on the court against the Blazers, look at that. 4 fouls in 4 minutes? I think Monty Williams then played him against Golden State for 11 minutes just to not embarrass the kid against his old team. What's really sad is Wiseman seems like a good person. He just got drafted way higher than his talent deserved, and now the fall is painful. He'll probably end up overseas because he's too good for the G League, not good enough for the NBA. I would much rather be Jordan Poole because at least he got paid. After the Draymond punch, the Dubs rewarded him with a $120+ million contract. But with all that cash has come criticism. For some reason, everyone thinks it's okay to trash Jordan Poole. Even his ex-teammates are calling him out by name. Andre Iguodala said Jordan went out of his way to not play defense last year.
Like, bro, like, I'm about to flip sides with these fans. if you fall on purpose one more time to not play defense.
But Draymond is a little more sneaky. The Warriors already have 5 road wins this season after just 11 all last year. So when Draymond was asked about that, you know who he's talking about.
Last year we had an awful team as far as chemistry goes. It was pathetic. But chemistry has been a strong suit here. That's why Steph has been here for 15 years, Clay's been here for 13, I've been here for 12, and Luna's been here for 9. Last year was horse. It's hard to come to work, not fun. This year you see the joy, on guys' face when they come in the building.
And you know who that was? Jordan Poole, because the punch was bad, but after that, Jordan made things a lot worse. There's a cool channel out there called Legends Productions that shows how much of a problem Jordan was. So you can see Draymond is trying to give him love coming off the court. Poole rejects Dre and pushes him away. Then Steph behind him sees that and gets upset. He says, hey, following Poole, don't do that. He tells Jordan, just play, and being a little kid about it isn't gonna effing help. Then during the playoffs, Jordan does, one of his stupid isolation plays that's a brick. So Steve Kerr pulls him out of the game, but Jordan doesn't realize that. So Draymond says, go in for Jordan. Then Poole screams, what the F is that? And then goes to pout on the bench in a playoff game. The Warriors couldn't wait to trade him, but now he's got his own team. Take everything you learned from Steph Curry and apply it. The man watched all Steph's signature moves for years. So Jordan, as smooth as Steph, except he forgets to make the shot. Yeah, he's a little more like Nick Young than Steph Curry. Here, the Wizards are down 15, but Jordan isn't exactly motivated. Casual shot blocked by Porzingis. And this is the kind of dumb turnover Warrior fans are not missing this year. In fact, Chris Paul, who they got back in the trade, has had 29 assists and 0 turnovers his last 4 games. He is fitting in so well. But with Jordan Poole as the Wizards' best player, they're the worst team in the NBA. What happened to the guy who single-handedly beat the Nuggets in the 2022 playoffs? What happened is he became overrated. Remember when people were discussing, what should we call the new pool party lineup? He was never that good. But just like Wiseman, dude then gets slammed for not living up to other people's high expectations. Now, the Dubs' 2 biggest mistakes are looking even worse. Who is not a bust though? Zion Williamson, but the Pelicans might trade him anyway. There are serious signs that the Pels could be done with him after this year.